Hello.
Hello.
What's up, everybody? It's Erin.
And Nicole, this is Dude That's Fucked Up. Not you, bitch, Alexa. Calm the fuck down. I heard you. I heard you bump your little bump. Off with her head.
Muting that hoe.
Yeah. Mute her. She's been silenced.
Well,
all right. Well, fucking
aside.
now that Alexa's out of here.
Button into our convo, man.
Dude, always listening, thinking what? Oh, she wants to start a podcast now? Well, how about you don't, bitch? We got almost 6 years on you, so calm the fuck down.
She's just like, I'm not a regular AI. I'm a cool AI. Let me hang out, babes.
Hey, young people, or whatever. What is it? I don't know.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Well, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm getting over a fucking cold per usual, but
per
hanging in there.
Yeah. Wild to see people's Spotify Unwrapped.
Oh, I know.
It's people in the secret Facebook group today were like, someone started a thread and they all were sharing like screenshots of us like in their top 5. Bitch, I can't even. I was getting so emotional. It's just so wild to see like our podcast next to people whose podcasts I listen to. Like the Bold and the Beautiful, Trixie and Katya. What? How? I was like, I saw that today and I was like, what? People are listening to Trixie and Katya and they're listening to us. And we were higher on their list. I can't.
I can't.
I won't. I just can't.
I shan't.
I shan't. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. And
I feel reinvigorated.
Truly, it's such a crazy thing to encounter towards the end of the year too, when you're just kind of like in the doldrums, I think.
You're like tired and looking forward to like a new beginning or something. Mm-hmm. It feels, it's like it puts a nice little pep in your step. Yeah,
it like helps set the tone, I think, for future endeavors. So,
well, and like we don't have bosses or anything that are like telling us we're doing a good job or like even telling us we're doing a bad job. You know, like there's no one but us managing it. So it's like also great to see any feedback, whether it's good or bad. It's like always very helpful. And so This is just very exciting and very good and feels like a lovely way to end the year. I love it.
Anything else going on?
No, that's it. What about you?
No, nothing. Just sorry for my froggy voice.
Oh, it's only a little twinge. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, we have an episode for you. It's like kind of
seasonal.
It's seasonal. It's well, I mean not season. It's timely.
Topical.
It's always timely. It's topical.
Yeah.
It's a little serious, but also
very funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't take jokes this seriously.
Well, some people do.
Oh yeah.
And it's we have a platform. We're gonna use it.
Ooh, for good today.
Yeah. Okay.
We try sometimes.
We're gonna talk today a little bit about media literacy.
Oh, love.
And how to kind of, the internet is massive and wild and it is full of fucking horse shit and conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And some of those conspiracy theories you'll undoubtedly hear during the holidays. What better time?
I heard one. The reason this came up is because like it's timely, and also I heard one from my mom. Not to shout her out, but like I'm gonna shout her out. Hey, mom. She brought something up to me that I was like, that's not true. Like I just knew by what it was. I was like, no, because I know how that works, and that's not how that works. But
your mom
see this shit everywhere.
Your mom is an otherwise like
she's
very
news
intelligent,
literate.
news literate.
But listen, it doesn't matter because everyone falls for it. I have so many friends that have been falling for certain news stories and sharing them and spreading them and being like, we have to do something about this. And that's where it ends because it's not a real thing.
Yeah. and it always kind of like pops off during big events too. Like right now, the World Cup is happening.
Election just happened.
An election just happened. A special election is going to happen in Georgia. If you're not registered to vote in Georgia, what are you doing?
I've been sending so many postcards.
There's all these things happening right now. We just, like you said, had an election. The World Cup is happening in a very interesting part of the world, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's really gnarly. I'm not going to go in depth on it, but
I wish we would talk about that.
I have been listening to the podcast World Corrupt. It's like a crooked media podcast with Tommy Vitor and one of my favorite football soccer people in the world, Roger Bennett, who hosts the Men in Blazers podcast. And they talk about like FIFA and how corrupt and just the how this like whole system is rigged for, literally handing each other like envelopes full of cash and shit. So it's like it's
like it was like a red flag that we're even having the World Cup in Qatar.
Qatar did not have any infrastructure 10 years ago, did not have 6 stadiums built to host the World Cup 10 years ago, had no public transportation, was just a literal like had no infrastructure.
Also, they're like a human rights violation. Like
6,500 laborers have died, like migrant workers have died over the course of 10 years of building the infrastructure for the World Cup. So
not to mention they like jail gay people and like it's a fucking gross place, dude.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
wild.
fact that we even are having it there is insane. But I'm not in charge of that.
Yeah, it's wild. So when you have these kind of like big things happening in the world, there's like tons of opportunity for
fake news, which is weird because there should be real news coming from that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, why do we have all this fake garbage when there's actual atrocities that we should be looking at? And it's like, because people don't want us looking at that.
Yep. There's a little thing that, big, powerful companies, corporations, organizations like to do.
Yeah.
And like, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is like
real.
This is
real life. Yeah.
They distract from the shit. And, there's also a case to be made for like conspiracy theories that pop up that are it's not even conspiracy theories. It's just like out of context, misinformation.
Yeah. Things
that are distracting from other things. So
yes,
we're going to talk a little bit about the most, I think, popular
some currently popular, I would say. Yeah, that are
the
like
most viral, like
the biggest viral load right now that's going around in terms of like a few topics that we think going into the holidays maybe you'll come across at like the extended dinner table with your larger family.
That's right. Your weird uncle's definitely going to bring up one of these topics, or your weird aunt, whatever, or
or both.
They're
going to tag team you. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, anybody, a cousin, like it could be a young person too. Like also, as we said earlier, like this stuff doesn't discriminate. It's not necessarily just coming from your conservative family members.
No.
Like we said earlier, my mom brought something up that wasn't real. And it's like, no, that's not happening.
Okay, so just like, let's just get into it. One of the first big conspiracy theories that's probably going to be going around, like one of the topics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because it is very scary and tragic, is the topic of fentanyl.
Yeah, that is scary.
It is scary. I unfortunately know a lot of people who have had drug addiction problems who have died as a result of like fentanyl being, laced with the drug that they're using, and it's fucked. So there's reason for it to be scared of it. But there's of course, like with a lot of these conspiracy theories and these like, this misinformation that gets thrown around, a lot of truth is kind of precedes it or is like woven into it. One of the big things, though, that has been making the rounds on social media, especially on Facebook, is the quote unquote fentanyl exposure myth.
Yes.
It's kind of dominated some headlines lately, and people have claimed to have experienced quote overdoses from touching unknown powders they believe to be fentanyl, or from simply being in close proximity to some substance they believe to be fentanyl, even when it turns out to not be fentanyl. So you probably have heard this, like, random stories. A woman picked up a dollar bill. She later tested negative for any fentanyl.
Here's a hot tip. Don't pick up any dollar bills on the street, because have you seen shit dollar?
Yeah. I'm more concerned about shit being on stuff than fentanyl, okay? Honestly.
Listen, best case scenario, you get $1. Big deal. Worst case scenario, oh, there's doo-doo on your hands. It's poop.
It's poop. Oh my God. So this woman, it's basically this woman thought, like, she had some reaction and thought it was fentanyl, and it was just like, no.
Low blood sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then another one that made the rounds that was like super crazy popular was this sheriff's deputy who collapsed after handling an open bag of powder. Both cases just were not having anything to do with fentanyl, but they were like, it's fentanyl, you know? It's just like this boogeyman.
Help me. I touched this open bag of powder. It's so, what are you doing? You
Sir,
put on fucking gloves and do your job. There's protocol, Doug.
that's confectioner's sugar, first of all. Like, calm down.
Help me. I touched an open bag of powder. It's so stupid.
It's just like, I was close to somebody smoking marijuana. Am I high now? It's like, oh, come on, man. Maybe, I don't know.
Fucking some other police officer's like, that's a bag of Bisquick. The box is right here.
Oh my God. Okay, so first thing need to know about fentanyl is, like, this is not a thing. Okay, first of all.
Yeah, touching it.
You can absorb fentanyl through your skin, but if it's in a powder form, like, there's nothing. It's not going to be. You can't really. You'd have to snort it like a fucking rail of Coke,
or swallow it.
Or swallow it.
Yeah.
But like a lot, like a
good amount. Yeah.
Like on purpose.
Yeah.
Just like touching it or being close to it is not going to make you overdose. If that was the case, because there's fentanyl out here in the world, people use fentanyl patches. Like, cancer patients use fentanyl patches, like, for management of pain all the time.
Yeah.
And these administer the drug through the skin, which is like a real thing. But it takes about 12 to 16 hours to deliver a significant amount of the drug to the bloodstream. So you're not going to instantaneously, if you come in contact with it, die. And also, like, you're not. So if somebody has a fentanyl laced dollar bill and you touch it, you're not going to, like, pass out from it. You're going to. I don't know. Nothing's going to happen, basically.
Yeah.
Dr. Lewis Nelson, a professor and chair of the Department of Emergency Medicine and the chief of the Division of Medical Toxicology at Rutgers New Jersey Medical School, told Reuters that the symptoms people reported experiencing in these stories about incidental fentanyl exposure are more consistent with stress or anxiety than drug overdoses.
Okay, I think that's real. Like, they got freaked out that they touched something that could have been fentanyl, and they, like, worked themselves up into a frenzy. I think that makes sense.
Like, you have a psychosomatic, experience, thinking, like, you've heard maybe something about fentanyl, and then you're, like, in contact with it, and you freak out. Like, that could totally happen. Or you just have, like, a panic attack because you're working in a high stress environment, whatever. So, yeah, this is all very much bullshit. But like I said.
Well, no, I'll say something because I have it down lower, but it's related. I should have moved it up. But also, like, there's there's like an additional kind of lens to this too, which this is like what my mom brought up to me, is that this method specifically, which doesn't exist, is being used to bring women into sex trafficking. So it's like, you know, whether they're leaving like a dollar bill laced with it, you know, somewhere you might see it, or like a story that came out of Houston where a woman claimed that there was like a napkin laced with fentanyl kind of tucked under her door handle, like of her car. Like there's just a napkin and she touched it and then she freaked out because gross napkin. I don't know what's on that. It's like fucking loogie and someone just like put a cum napkin or something like under my. We don't know what perverts and weirdos are out there and then like sitting in their car watching you touch this gross napkin. Ew, you know? And then that's where the panic attack comes from and they think it's fentanyl, but it's not.
No.
And that's not how you. Like, that's not how your body would react. So
no. Yeah. And I, like I was saying, like misinformation often stems from like a grain of truth that's out there.
Yeah.
And that grain of truth is that drug smugglers have used candy boxes to try to sneak fentanyl through airports. And fentanyl has been manufactured in bright colors to entice young people. So that could be where the idea of the Halloween candy that was going around.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like clockwork. Every decade we get a new, you know, kids are going to overdose on crack or
This year
or,
it was fentanyl.
This year it was fentanyl. And or for the past couple of years it's been fentanyl. And
makes
it's
zero
because
sense.
of this.
Makes zero sense. No dealers are giving their drugs away. Sorry to break it. Sorry to break the news to you, everyone in the neighborhood. They are keeping their drugs because they're either A, doing them, or B, selling them. They're not just giving them away for fucking free, dude.
I don't know if you guys know, but drug dealers are trying to make money.
Yeah. People don't deal drugs like for their heart's sake. Like it's not a passion of anyone's. It's a living that they have to make and it's for money.
Yeah, drug dealers are not out here handing out fucking drugs for free. Okay? I mean, maybe, but not in your neighborhood probably.
They'll maybe give you a little taste of something, but guess what? It's not going to be fentanyl. It's not going to be pure fentanyl because they don't want you to die. They'll lose a customer. That's fucking stupid.
Basic fucking economics, you guys.
It's so, oh my God. If people just like stopped and thought about this for 1 second, like it does not, the math isn't mathing.
No. Also, if somebody's in your neighborhood trying to give like drugs out to people on Halloween, like, while everybody's out and about, like parents and shit are like trick-or-treating with their kids. That's a bold fucking move that will absolutely get them caught immediately. So like
you're on everyone's webcam or whatever. You're on everyone's security cam.
Yeah.
Nest cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, urban legends about harmful Halloween candy have been around for decades, including fears of razor blades and apples and pins and chocolate.
Yeah.
But researchers, historians, and fact checkers have never found any evidence of fatalities from tainted Halloween candy, and reports of contaminated candy are often hoaxes.
Yeah.
The rumors also can distract people from actual, danger.
Yeah.
On Halloween, like increased pedestrian fatalities.
Yeah.
Case in point, there was a family hit by a drunk driver. I think he was drunk and high. Yeah. On God knows what. Who hit an entire family of 3 right around the corner from my house.
Yeah.
3 years ago when we first moved here.
Wasn't it during the pandemic?
It was 2019.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dang. I thought it was like last year.
No.
Yeah. It's
killed them. All of them.
Yeah. Killed them. I was going to say, the amount of just drunk driving on Halloween. Like young adults are still partying and celebrating the holiday and like shit gets bad. And it's like, why isn't there more stress and caution around that? I guess because it's harder to control adults. I don't know.
Any holiday, I'm not out on the street. Like,
I don't like to be. Yeah.
I don't like driving. I don't like going from point A to point B on the holiday because
Yeah.
people are drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree. Yeah.
You know?
Ever since that woman went the wrong way on like Memorial Day weekend in New York, like the wrong way on the freeway, and it was like a huge massacre. I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
ooh, even like no holiday is safe to be driving. Even like Super Bowl Sunday, even do
No.
not leave your house.
Nope.
Unless you want to be in a drunk driving accident with someone, like it's just not good to be out.
Shit,
People
man.
are
I'm even wary like after daylight savings time because like
no, that's the most
time
accidents
change.
of the
Yeah,
year.
most accidents. Yeah. Mhm.
I will say that like going back to the example about like the in the police force and in the sheriff's like department where they're all freaked out. It's something that they're trying to combat with educating the police, because like so many people in the police force and like in those types of jobs are like super freaked out about fentanyl because it's, you know, so many people are dying from it. And so they're having to go in and like give them PowerPoint like presentations and be like, yeah, so this isn't how it happens, and like maybe wear gloves, but like you don't don't worry, unless you're like doing rails of this shit, you'll be okay. And then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, same with like other first responders too. It's just like everybody's like wary and scared whenever there's like a fentanyl kind of related incident because of you know, this misinformation. So it's literally freaking people out to the point where they like are afraid to do their job. So
is you know, like Narcan, is that what it is?
Narcan,
Narcan, yeah. Does that help with fentanyl overdoses or just like heroin?
I think so. I think it's like any kind of opioid.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, that's a good reason for everyone to be equipped with a Narcan type situation and to have them available without any judgment. Just because like people think that, I mean, like think of all the people that have died just this year, like high profile comedians and shit doing coke, but it was laced with fentanyl and they died. So having Narcan around is very helpful for this reason and shouldn't be smited or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, there's like so fentanyl is like a big one, and there's tons of like conspiracy theories that are branching off of that because it's the fentanyl I feel like is the big boogeyman right now.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, like you said, doesn't matter which side of the aisle you are on politically.
Right.
It's scary. Like even people who are like pretty smart are getting caught up in these kind of like
urban legends almost.
Yeah. It's and I think there was like there was some research done where it was proven that like 16 people were putting out, like only 16 people were putting out these false news stories. And what happens is it gets copied and pasted. Right. And people take it and run with it. Somebody high profile will like see a story, retweet it, and then it just like takes on a life of its own. And that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, there's no source attached to it at that point. And so it's like hard for you to fact check it or trust it. But like when a celebrity or a friend shares something, you're like, oh, it must be fine, you know? But so many times it's just like repurposed hot garbage.
And we'll talk more later about how to like recognize and how to like parse through some of the shit that pops up quite often. Yeah. I think right now also another like crazy boogeyman topic is human trafficking. Human trafficking has been around for centuries. I mean,
literally since the world started, probably like since women existed.
And slavery is one of the, huge pivotal points of
capitalist society.
So but people are now kind of associating human trafficking with like children and pedophilia and all this stuff. And of course it definitely is, but people are going down really weird paths with this idea that For example, there was that really bizarre story about Wayfair
Oh,
being
yeah.
being
Oh
like
my God. I
a
forgot
source
about
of human
that.
trafficking, and it
Yeah.
was all because somebody on a Reddit thread found these industrial cabinets that were had like human women names, which was weird, of course. But they were like priced really high.
But so do
Like,
like fucking hurricanes. So what's the
yeah,
point? I don't understand. It's like there's
I
a
know.
hurricane Nicole and it's like womp womp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we as a human population always try to anthropomorphize
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's just a weird quirk of humans. But what was really happening was these cabinets were for commercial use,
Mm-hmm.
which is why they were priced so high. They were like tens of thousands of dollars, some of them.
Yeah.
But they were like massive and made of stainless steel and were for use in like huge warehouses or restaurants or whatever.
Yeah.
But people didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they just jumped to conclusions and were like, are they smuggling humans inside of these cabinets? Or is it like coded? Like you buy this cabinet and you also get, a little girl? Like what? Like,
Yeah, yeah. What is this? Why are these so expensive for real?
so it was just, it picked up traction. It was a Reddit thread. Somebody saw this, posted it on their Facebook, and
Yeah. And then it just fucking spread like wildfire through the
Yep.
Christian Facebook groups or whatever. And then now here we are.
Yeah.
It's so weird how there's so many like pedophilia stories coming out, especially from like the conservative party. Just like anything pedophile, like they're just like making up so many stories, and it's just like, why? And I mean, I know why, because they're not real, so they're not actually solvable. They're a way to like rally their base around in against something that's like a moral issue and doesn't really exist, so it's not a real problem that they have to solve. But like this stuff is rampant right now because we just had the election.
It is real, to be clear.
No,
like,
pedophilia and sex trafficking is real. The stories in particular that they're fabricating are not real, actual examples of things that are happening. It's always these like big, wide, like swathy. They all sound like urban legends, where it's like, well, who was that? Well, when did that happen? And it's like, there's no answers for you because this instance didn't actually occur.
Yeah. And also, like, some of it is very much projection.
Yeah. I mean, we always go, it's like, why are, like, everybody's so fucking, verklempt and pearl clutching about everything that's going on in the made up world. And then it's like, but everybody's just like letting their families go to church. I don't get it. Like, what happens in Catholic churches, right? You know what happens in like these fucking young youth pastor groups, right? Some fuck shit.
Yeah.
Maybe look there.
The next big topic that is just been taken way too far is the anti-vax movement.
Oh my God. It's back, y'all. Whew. It's back. Anti-COVID bullshit.
My God. It's, oh my God. I don't even know what to say anymore about, I have nothing to say really, truly about anti-vax people. It's just.
I do. Okay. I got a lot to say. Well, okay, we're going to talk about the News Literacy Project in a second, but I kind of got a lot of information from their website.
Yeah,
and
same.
So, okay, good. So they said, they have like a whole like article on, well, they have multiple articles actually on like a few different rumors floating around about the COVID vaccine specifically. And so one of them right now that they pointed to says an anti-vaccine group has rehashed several debunked conspiracy theories and repackaged them into a documentary-style movie called Died Suddenly that premiered on social media. That really happened. That's like a real thing that's happening. This anti-vaccine group made this fake documentary, and then they premiered it on social media because of course they did, because no actual production companies or even theater chains are going to touch this bullshit. And the reason no theaters want to put it in their theaters is because they don't want a bunch of like unvaccinated like middle-aged crackers all up in their theaters fucking spreading COVID. You know what I mean? They're like, not here.
This is an enclosed space.
Yeah.
Ma'am, and you are extremely unvaccinated.
Ma'am. And then, so they also said, the News Literacy Project also said, the film purports to show deaths occurring after COVID-19 vaccinations, but does not provide evidence that the vaccinations caused an increase in unexpected deaths. So, like, they're implying causation.
Yeah.
There's no correlation. And there's not even really causation. Like, it's all very implied. There's no, it's just like, it's not.
And their quote unquote data of people who've died are people who died from other things.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just because they were vaccinated. Like, if you
Right.
ate a fucking cheeseburger after COVID started and then you died of a heart attack, you didn't die from eating that one cheeseburger. You died from who knows what. But like,
right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Heart disease. Not COVID.
Not COVID.
Not the COVID vaccine or whatever.
No, not the COVID vaccine. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that's like when my dad died. He was like a week. I think he was a week out from being fully vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of people where he lived were like, oh, the COVID vaccine. And I was like, they didn't say that to my face, but I was like, absolutely not. It's so insane. My uncle did, though. He asked me, he's like, do you think it was the vaccine?
Face,
yeah. Well, he said it on the phone. Do you think it was a vaccine? I was like, no, it wasn't the fucking vaccine. I was so pissed. Anyway, it was a heart attack. Okay. Anyway, so this is like things that the News Literacy Project did, like their fact check, essentially. Okay. Mm-hmm. People did not start dying suddenly after the COVID-19 vaccines were released. That's a fact. And this is something that the movie was trying to prove. Severe reactions to the shots are rare, but they do occur. Like, that's also a fact. Some clips in the film supposedly show people dying unexpectedly, but actually show incidents unrelated to the COVID-19 vaccine or people who didn't die at all. So like you said, right. It's like, on the one hand, it's like, oh yeah, people died unexpectedly, but like it wasn't related to the vaccine, and or they were showing people that they like claimed
died, but they
didn't. Who didn't die. It's weird. And then of course, people for the anti-vaxxers, it's got to all come back to Bill Gates. Otherwise, they're not anti-vaxxing correctly. So they're all, fucking chips, and he wants to control people. So the News Literacy Project also said Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist Bill Gates did not say that he wanted to use vaccines to kill people and reduce the population. That was like one of their like theories, or their themes in the shitty ass movie that hopefully, I want to say no one saw it, but people all saw it on Facebook, and that's why they were very smart to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's
an audience for it.
There's an audience, and people just kind of trust anything they see on Facebook without second guessing it, and it's so wild.
Ugh.
I know. And okay, this is like a weird thing, but it's very specific to this time period, between Halloween and like New Year's.
Okay.
So, and I've never heard of this, but I have now, and it's fascinating that this is a thing. It sounds so dumb. But
okay.
And it is dumb. I just want you to know it also is dumb, but it also sounds dumb. Okay, so anti-vax groups have also been spreading rumors about the seasonal increase in sugar poisoning of the children, and then like that's what causes the flu. Like heightened levels of sugar consumption are what causes influenza. That's their hypothesis. Okay? Too much sugar gives you the flu. I mean, Well, I'm shocked that they're not like, it's the fentanyl. You know what I mean? But
There's
obviously,
fentanyl in the sugar.
there's fentanyl. Sugar is fentanyl. It's like Soylent Green.
Oh my God.
The
Soylent
sugar
Green
is fentanyl.
people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Obviously, all debunked. The flu season does not occur because of increased sugar intake. It's so dumb. Influenza is a contagious respiratory illness. It's not related to sugar at all, and causes of influenza spike during colder months. So that's true. But it is increased. It is due to increased time spent indoors, more social gatherings because of the holidays, lack of sunlight, and like a bunch of other factors that don't have anything to do with sugar. So it's just also upsetting.
Well, yeah.
Read a book. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's hard because
It's hard. It's on Facebook, and your friend Barbara Ann that you went to.
And yeah.
You know, like you guys like used to fucking go to sock hops together
Totally.
and shit, and now she's sharing it, and you're like, oh, she's a smart woman, and she is. You know, this is the thing.
I know.
It doesn't make no one's dumb for believing this stuff because it's meant to fool us all. But now that you're aware, I guess, like once you're made aware that there is a bunch of crap out there, it's good to then think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, it is very difficult to parse through this stuff. It's very difficult to hear somebody that you love and respect parrot some of these batshit kind of theories and ideas while you're sitting at the dinner table just trying to eat your fucking Christmas ham or whatever.
I know. No, it is. Listen, I had a moment with this with an uncle last Christmas, and he's fucking shouting off shit that him and his wife read on Facebook. And I'm like, stop. This isn't real. And he's like, oh, I could show you this the source. Showed me. He's like, it was on Facebook. I was like, that's not a source. Next. I was such an asshole. I didn't care.
Well,
I was nice.
Here's how to get through, your Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Talking to your weird uncle without causing a huge fight at the dinner table, which could result in everyone telling each other to fuck off and or makes your grandma cry.
Yeah.
Okay. If your uncle starts talking at you about, anti-vax shit, Wayfair, human trafficking people, fentanyl and Halloween candy, the best strategy is to just ask them questions about the things they say.
Yeah. Yes.
Like
just
if
keep digging. Be curious. Get curious.
If you can't figure out a way to like wiggle out of this conversation and you want to kind of shut it down and the best you can, it's the best way to kind of diffuse and start to unwind a person from their weird conspiracy theories. Just ask them about it in a non-condescending, genuinely curious way. Well,
I'm out.
Yeah. You might need to actually excuse yourself from the dinner table.
Yeah. Also, is this a condescending question? And you believe that because?
Yes.
Is this condescending? Does that sound real to you? And does that sound like a real thing to you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm out. I can't play this game.
Okay, we could role play if you want. You be the crazy uncle.
No, because this doesn't help me.
But I will tell you what to say.
Oh, okay. I see. I'll learn from your example. Yeah. Okay. Did you know? Okay, I'm trying to think of what my uncle was actually talking to me about, but it was so long ago and it was so mushy. It was so mushy brain. Okay. Did you know that someone, like a friend of a friend's friend, was fentanyled at their car with a napkin?
Oh my God, what does that mean, fentanyled? What do you mean?
Well, the napkin was laced with fentanyl, and then they touched it, and then they got all sick.
Really?
Someone was trying to kidnap them for sex trafficking.
Wow, I didn't realize that fentanyl was that powerful. Can you tell me more about fentanyl?
Don't touch it. You'll be sex trafficked.
So if you touch fentanyl, you'll die?
No, you'll just get sex trafficked. Well, you might die, I guess, but you'll pass out and then someone will kidnap you.
So instantly you've passed out from fentanyl?
I guess.
Where did you hear this from? Who, where, what?
Facebook. I saw it on someone said that they know someone who knows someone who knows another person and that it happened to them.
Oh, that's so interesting. I'd love to read more about this. Can you send me the link to that?
Oh, it's not a link. It's just a post that someone made with a fucking.
Oh, it's just a post? Okay, well, that doesn't really sound very reputable. Is this something that you witnessed? Like
No,
at any point in time? No?
Mm-mm,
Okay.
mm-mm. Didn't even. Should I have? I didn't even. I mean, now I'm thinking maybe I should have Googled it in the news to see if it was real. But did you know Google's controlled by the overlords?
Who are the overlords?
Bill Gates. He's trying to chip us all.
Oh, I almost thought you were going to say Jews, but I'm glad you didn't.
No, I'm a conspiracy theorist asshole, but I'm actually not anti-Semitic.
Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of the conspiracy theories that you love all come back to hating Jews.
Oh. Well, I just don't take it to that part, so I'm free and clear.
All right, Uncle Mike. Let's drink some more wine.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that's the best I can do.
Okay, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, if you can't like stay genuine or non-condescending, or if they can't stay on topic or engage in a way that's meaningful, you can gently guide them back to the original question, or you can change the subject to keep the peace. I don't know.
Yeah. Just
it takes practice. It really takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
But there's lots of resources out there to help. And I will say there are levels. So if you have a family member that is at the extreme level of like, they're like level 8 clear on the QAnon spectrum.
Like we know where they were on January 6th and it wasn't here.
No, yeah, they were at the Capitol.
Yeah.
If your family member or loved one is way far down the rabbit hole, then try these things. These are recommended by a former violent white supremacist who like got out of it and is now like trying to help people cope with their family members and loved ones who have strayed down a path.
That makes sense because like once you're out, you don't want to deal with that shit anymore.
Yeah, and you are like you realize like, oh my God, this is like very destructive and bad, and this person is trying to help. So okay, the first thing is from this person is to clearly communicate and enforce your boundaries. Decide what words, phrases, and topics of discussion are off the table for you and the consequences of breaching those boundaries. You could say, I don't want to talk about politics at all with you.
Yeah.
If you could bring up politics, I like politics, the deep state, Trump, child trafficking, or anything like that, I'm going to end our conversation. Make that a very clear boundary. That's totally fine. It doesn't need to be weird.
Also, for anyone looking for help in setting boundaries, Melissa Urban, who is also the founder or like one of the co-founders of Whole30, she just released a book it's like the Book of Boundaries. She is doing so much content like around the holidays. She's giving you like she is a great boundary setter and she's giving you scripts to help you. Yeah, her book is phenomenal. I've only like heard the first little bit, but like it's so helpful and it's just so reinforcing that like setting a boundary does not mean you're unkind or that you're difficult or that you're it doesn't mean anything except that you know where the line is for you to maintain your like mental and physical health.
Yep.
So don't worry about it. And if you need a backup, she's got you.
You're not being an asshole. You're putting up a boundary and that's okay.
Also, like, it's okay to not want to talk about fucking weird pedophilia rumors with your uncle at the Thanksgiving table.
Totally.
Like, or whatever, Easter.
Yeah.
Any holiday.
Another tip is don't try to argue. Arguing and debating is ineffective.
Yeah.
Many conspiracy theorists and far-right adherents have ready-made templates and scripts available online for them to easily refute any arguments you make. It's okay to say, I disagree or I don't believe that, but arguing generally creates a wedge of defensiveness and actually makes it harder to reach someone.
Also, like, how are you going to argue with crazy?
Yeah, you can't.
None of this stuff is real. So like they're just going to keep making up fantasy shit. And it's just like, where do you, like, you're going to feel unhinged.
The goalposts will always move.
It's always
there's
moving,
never
yeah.
there's never going to be a common ground. So
Yeah.
don't try to argue.
Yeah.
Another tip is to reach out regularly to connect and check in. Try to focus on like non QAnon related topics. Just like ask them how they are. Say like just something that's relevant to their interests.
Yeah.
Talk
Normal
about
convos.
normal
Yeah.
conversations. Like, look at this picture of my kids. Like, oh, like miss you, whatever. Another tip
That's
is
good if it's like a sibling or something, but like an uncle,
Totally.
don't bother.
no,
You know, that's the responsibility of his family.
totally.
I don't talk to him as is. It'd be weird if I was like, hey.
Well, that's
Yeah, I guess.
that's another strategy altogether.
Yeah, true.
Invite them to engage in activities outside of their echo chamber. Suggest going for walks or hikes, playing golf, fishing, working in the garden, playing video games, or like community service projects together. Don't forget to enforce the boundaries you've set. Regular, meaningful connection outside of the world they've existed in is really critical. Another tip, listen more than you speak. Focus on feelings. One of the things that people really need to have to effectively disengage is to begin to feel all of the feelings they have. And if you're able to give them a space to do that and make it safe for them to kind of process what it is they're feeling, a lot of these people are like, have a lot of like anger deep down and like feeling misunderstood. And if you really love this person and really want them to pull them out, it's like you have to like keep that safe space for them to to exist instead of this like online fucking forum or whatever.
Yeah, it's so easy to like be shitty about this, but also it's kind of like addiction, you know? It's like these people have just been, they're still the person you love, but like something is controlling them that like they've been hijacked, you know what I mean?
Totally, exactly.
So it is important to like, I'm making jokes, obviously, but like all jokes aside, they are your family and like they are someone you love, assuming, and like, finding ways to relate to them and then ignoring and setting boundaries around all the other shit. That's the best you can do sometimes.
Yeah.
Detaching with love.
Yeah. And then the last thing is, or one of the last things, remember that their beliefs that they have, this like whatever in your mind is crazy belief, it's been helping them get their needs met.
It's meeting some sort of need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's like finding community or just like scratching some sort of an itch that they have. Like,
therapy would meet a lot of these needs also. I just want to say that because
Yeah.
it's like feeling unseen, like your self-worth is low. It's like all of the fucking shit, but that's why it all works.
Yeah. A lot of these belief systems could be offering them at least the illusion of having their needs met, or maybe functioning as a means of coping with not having their needs met effectively. People who immerse themselves inside these destructive worlds and belief systems often have felt unseen, unheard, and disconnected from something meaningful or greater than themselves.
Yeah.
And they lack access to things that allow them to feel empowered. Very much like addiction, like you were saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the last thing is examine your own relationship with this person.
Mm-hmm.
There may be unresolved issues or hurts which you both need to address so everyone can heal. Ultimately, you must remember that disengagement with a belief system such as QAnon is a process, and it's often very lengthy. You just have to, if you really truly love somebody, you're gonna figure out a way to like stick with it. And
keep a connection, but like distance yourself in other ways. Like
keep yourself protected too. So
I bet there's like, honestly, I bet there's support groups at this point.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yeah,
there is 1,000%.
Yeah, like QAnon Anon or something, where it's like you're someone who is affected by someone who's in QAnon, I guess. It sounds like a joke, like a sketch or something, but it's real shit. I mean, there's people whose like dads and shit are getting into this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I do have an uncle who, I have a couple uncles. One who's like completely gone. Like
Yeah.
there's no getting him back.
Right.
And then I have another uncle who like was very full on MAGA, who's now kind of like, it's just a little too much. Like it's gone too far, and I'm not interested in that anymore.
Yeah.
And being able to like have a conversation with them again, like there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be shut down.
Sure. Like, yeah.
But,
If that comes with some baggage. Yeah.
But one thing at a time. And also like you can't reach those places until you like create a space of like, you know, where they feel, I don't know.
Well, and not to like give that person too much credit, but like also admitting, like with how divisive things are right now, like admitting that that's not for you anymore and you don't like where it's heading or whatever is very hard to do today because it's, I mean, everybody just wants to be right. And like, it's, so that's already like a good sign, you know?
Yep. Okay.
So then you could build what is it in good faith? Then you can start to have conversations in good faith. That
Absolutely.
This person like wants to have a better relationship with you maybe, or like wants to live their life in a way that's different from how they were.
Yeah, because it's very isolating, and it eventually like it starts out as fun, I think, for a lot of people. And exhilarating almost to like discover and be part of something that's like, you know, that not everybody knows about or whatever, or you feel like not everybody knows about.
Also, like, for QAnon, I was thinking even just with like MAGA, it's like I can understand the appeal of like the patriotism, even just like how exciting it is to watch the World Cup and the US play and how like amped you get. And it's like this one, 3-hour game or whatever. Like it's like this 3-hour moment in time. And we don't really have that collectively as a nation because like there is so much going on that doesn't feel good. And so I would imagine it feels good to be like, you know what, let's just kind of like go back to the 1950s vibe where like we can all feel really good about being American or whatever. And I could see why that's appealing. Yeah. Like if you choose not to live in reality, which is a condescending way to say that. But like, it's like it's a choice.
It's liberating for people in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And it's a choice.
Okay, so that's all one thing, but how do you personally, when you are out in the world, like when you're doom scrolling or watching / listening to the news that your mom has on while she's cooking the Christmas ham, like how do you personally spot misinformation?
Yeah.
And what do you do about it?
I'll tell you what I do. I always look for a credible source. We live in a time of like our timeline right now is like memification. Everything's a meme. And so there's never context with anything. So right off the bat, if something doesn't have a legitimate recognized like news source, I immediately write it off. Or if it's something that's interesting to me, I will Google it.
Yes.
And I will see if that's something that pops up in a few places that, again, are reputable. And I'm talking like, and there's an issue because like people think these media are like have liberal agendas. But it's like, if it's not New York Times, if it's not Washington Post, I'm not, LA Times, whatever, like the big, newspapers, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, because all of these huge publications have fact-checking departments, and
they're still doing real journalism.
They have human beings like who have degrees in journalism and ethics, and know and are beholden to like this kind of do no harm ethos. So it's very important to a lot of people. This is their job to fact check stuff. So, but while you're out there consuming content, ask yourself these 5 questions. And this comes from the good people at rumorguard.org, which is a website created by the News Literacy Project. The News Literacy Project is a nonpartisan education nonprofit building a national movement to create a more news literate America.
Great.
Okay.
Love it.
First thing you should ask yourself is it authentic? Is this thing that I'm reading, is it authentic? Period.
Yeah. And that could mean even like, does it look tampered with? You know, like, does the image look off? Like, sometimes you can just tell by looking at it.
Is this tweet even real? Like,
is this tweet even real?
Is this digitally, like, you know, is this like altered in any way? Is this
a
like
screenshot of an article, or is this a link to an actual article that's like populating? Yes.
That's number one. Second thing, has it been posted or confirmed by a credible news source? Like you're saying.
Yeah.
Has like the New York Times like picked this story up? Has Reuters like written about it? Whatever.
Or are just all of your friends sharing it?
Yeah. Or is it
with
like
no context?
weirdnews.net, you know, like kind of vibes.
Bustybabes.org or whatever. You're like, is that a news source? Like,
I didn't know they were doing news. Yeah.
They're doing news now.
Next thing to ask, is there evidence that provides the claim? So even if there is some sort of like
evidence that proves the claim. Yeah.
Like if there's something out there, like a news article written about this that seems legit, like who's being talked to, where's the experts, where's the eyewitness, like who's on the ground, what actually happened, what are the facts?
Yeah.
Next thing, is the context accurate? Okay, this has been a huge thing for like the World Cup. There's been a bunch of people like sharing videos of like protests and you know, people burning things in the stands or whatever. A lot of these videos and images are out of context. They are things that happened at, you know, soccer matches in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like
years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Months ago, years ago, whatever.
Sure.
So just, you know, make sure that it's actually to do with that exact moment in time. First,
the context. Yeah. Because like it is authentic in that it is a real video of an event occurring, but then there's like text around it saying that this is happening right now, 2022. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Or like this photo was taken in 2013 and is, you know, a picture of somebody protesting a rally over like veganism or something. It's like, has nothing to do with the World Cup or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. And then the last thing is it based on solid reasoning? So like, what is the reasoning here? What is like what is this like a real thing to be concerned about? Is this like what's happening here? So
or is this just another story saying how drug dealers are giving away all their product to children? I do visit newslit.org/donate if you want to support this foundation. I'm going to put it in the notes, but it's really amazing. You can go to newslit.org anytime. That's the News Literacy Project website. And there's always like, when we were talking about doing this episode, we wanted to do like topical stories that are like circulating right now. And so this was a great resource for that, because they're constantly weeding through headlines that are popping up and being shared on social media. And they're like fact checking them. Or not even fact checking them, because a lot of times they're like, immediately, this is fake. But here's why it's gaining traction, and like, here's what's wrong with it, and here are some ways to like combat people sharing this. And I did like a whole training with them when I was at like the local radio station here, because we did like we had someone from the organization on the morning show we were doing, and like during the lockdown. And it was really cool. And then they invited us in to do like this literacy thing. And so it's there's like quizzes you could take on there. And there's just like so much you can learn about news literacy and how you can like tell your friends, you know, if they're sharing stuff that's wrong, like, hey, actually this has been disproven. here's what this is actually from. Here's a link to the original article. Like, you know, just ways that you can give more information when you know something's wrong. And
That's right.
you don't always initially know. Like, I had so many friends sharing the, like, 15,000 protesters have been sentenced to die in Iran, like, because of, or in Iran, because of, like, whatever, protesters, like, they're going to be killed. And then it's like, that wasn't true.
Yeah.
But celebrities were sharing that. People were raising money. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's all a lot, but we wanted to end on like a more a more fun note. So we thought it would be fun if we just did like this is like a try not to laugh challenge, I guess.
Yeah.
Based on a TikTok we saw this week that I think our friend Brian Derrick, DJ Brian, shared it with me and I died and it was so good I immediately sent it to you. And then I thought this would be a fun way to maybe end the podcast. And so so the topic of this week's Try Not to Laugh challenge is things we think the anti-vaxxers take or do to protect themselves from the flu in lieu of a vaccine. So, like, what do we think anti-vaxxers are taking, or what do we think they're doing to protect themselves from the flu since they're unvaccinated?
Okay.
Would you like to start or go second?
Okay, I'll start.
Okay, and like you'll just say one, and we'll just go back
and we'll try not to laugh.
And we'll try not to laugh. Yeah.
Okay. Praying to Jesus.
Artisanal sprouted wheat from Mandy Patinkin's country farm.
Essential oil enemas.
Ted Cruz's tonsil stones.
Bitch. Masturbating to Joe Rogan's podcast.
The Vaseline tub from their childhood home.
Taking artisanal horse meds.
The McRib.
Manifesting antibodies.
Honey on DVD and Blu-ray.
Jade eggs dipped in manuka honey.
Kirk Cameron's birthday sub. Do you remember that?
Jenny McCarthy's hair dye.
Taking a deep breath and counting to January 6th.
Vibrational vibes. That's all I got.
Ray Dunn affirmations. Okay, I have a few more. Do you want to hear them? Okay. Alex Jones back hairs. Farm fresh anthrax. Bath salts. Essential oils of Olay. Chick-fil-A. The tears of a bald eagle. Lance Armstrong's doped blood. Fancy snacks from TJ Maxx. Peppa Pig's dickhead. Chris Angel's failed magic tricks. Zach Baggins' chin pubes. I think that's
Ew.
it.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That was fun.
I did not win. I didn't win. I
No,
laughed.
there's no winning. Oh, yeah. We both laughed. I laughed immediately.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. How fun.
I love it.
All right.
Well, you guys, that's all we got.
Yeah.
Try to stay sane through the holidays, the rest of the year, what we have left of it.
Yeah.
And follow us on social media.
Yeah. DTFU podcast. All the places.
Yeah. Send us a story if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll read it for our 300th episode.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Diarrhea stories.
Weird sexcapades.
Weird sexcapades. Falling, but like you're not hurt bad. I don't want to read that, but like it was funny and maybe your skirt went up over your head and your choni showed or something.
farts in a bar. I don't know. Fart bar. This is not a fart bar.
Did you try to light your farts on fire, but your pubes caught fire, and then you stunk up the whole house, and your grandma was like, "What's that smell?"
Is somebody burning pie? Oh God. Yeah. Send us stories. Send us notes. Rate, review, subscribe. Whatever the people say.
Love it.
If you want to watch us, you could watch us on Spotify, or you could watch us on YouTube.
That's right.
All the places, DTFU podcasts, all the places.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Listen, stay excellent to yourselves
And each other.
Bye-bye.
Bye.